Welcome back to When Harry Met Board Games, where we feed our people with relatable content and our victory condition is your satisfaction. I'm Harry, and today I'm joined by a special guest,
Kaitlyn.
And before we go any further, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on that bell notification. That way, when we are doing our thing, YouTube lets you know. Today, we're going to be having Kaitlyn's top 10 board games of all time. And for those who don't know, Kaitlyn is my niece, and she's also about to be 13 years old. So this is a young teenager's perspective into board games. So let's get straight to it with Kaitlyn's number 10 board game of all time, Formula D. And right here, I just have a map expansion. I'm over at Kaitlyn's house, and I just have a map expansion representing the game. But Kaitlyn, tell us, why do you like this game so much?
I like this game because the first time I played it, it was like a really good experience. It's a racing game, and for me, it was a little bit easy because I prefer simple games, and since not like Monopoly and stuff like that, but more
Not that simple, no.
like simple enough that it gives me a great experience, and I just had a really good time with it.
Awesome. Yeah, it was fun. We played it with your brothers. It was very competitive, very exciting. For those who like racing games, and there's a little bit of luck with the rolling the dice, but you can control it by choosing when you roll each of the dice, right? So again, like Kaitlyn mentioned, easy to learn, but it does give you some opportunities for strategy and does have some very exciting endings. Kaitlyn's number 10 board game of all time, Formula D, and now we move on to her number 9 board game of all time, and it is
Skull King.
Skull King. So tell us why you like Skull King.
So I started playing this game a few weeks ago.
Couple months it's been now, yeah.
Technically. And the same thing, I had a really good experience. This game is you have like black cards and all different types of cards. They're very colorful. And the black cards, like you could defeat other colorful cards with it. Like a purple, you could put a black and be like, haha, I got that card.
Haha, that's exactly what she says every time she plays it. Haha, I got that card.
Thanks. and me and my brother played this with Harry, and it was just a really good game. I recommend it to people who like fun games, having a good laugh at.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a trick-taking game where players are trying to get the tricks, but it has a nice little piratey twist to it. And Kaitlyn has won this game a couple times and has been competitive at it pretty much every time she's played, which is one of the reasons why she likes this game, her little bias. But again, like she mentioned, it's a pretty simple game with some nice little twists and haha, laugh out loud type of moments. Fun little family game. So her number 9 board game of all time, Skull King. Now we move on to her number 8 board game of all time,
Deception. I love this game.
Ooh, tell us why you like this game.
This game is like it's like murder mystery. And I play games similar to this on like video game store. And when Harry introduced me to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this game is the best game for like a party game. And it's murdering. It has like a scene of crime. You know who did it, who didn't do it, who's innocent. And it's a really good game. I really like this one, and this is my number 7.
Number 8.
Number 8.
Yes. It's a fun game, like Kaitlyn mentioned, murder mystery. It's kind of like, I would say this is a game of Clue for gamers, right? It has a lot more thought and strategy to it than a regular game of Clue. But it's really fun because unlike some of these social deduction games where you really want to play one role, in particular you want to be the murderer or the secret bad guy, in this game I find that it's fun to be any of the roles. Would you agree, Kaitlyn?
Yes.
If you're the investigators trying to figure it out, or if you're the forensic scientist trying to give the clues to the players, or if you're the murderer just trying to go under the radar and undetected, any of those roles in this game are equally as fun, I would say.
Yep.
And it makes for a good party game, big group game. And if you know people who like Clue, this would be a great next step. Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. Kaitlyn's number 8 board game of all time. Kaitlyn's number 7 board game of all time is
Machi Koro. This game, I would teach it to my friends because I think they would like it. But also, you have you're trying to get a lot of coins so you can buy some of the special cards on top. And I beat Harry.
Oh, yes, she
How to
did.
say that.
She remembers.
And this game is really simple. It's a light game. It takes about, like 30 minutes?
Yeah,
Most?
maybe 35 minutes, somewhere around there, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a really good game. You have a bunch of different cards, and it's like you're growing a farm or a city. And yeah, this game is really good.
Yes, yes. Like Kaitlyn mentioned, a very light game. This is a good alternative for people who like games like Catan, games where you're rolling dice and trying to activate certain things, maybe even off of other players' turns, but you don't want a game that's as long as Catan might be, or maybe even as mean as Catan can be, even though this game can be pretty mean too, because there are some cards that you can buy that you'll get money, you'll steal money from opponents if they roll a certain number on the die. But yeah, really cool, light gateway game, like Kaitlyn says, a game she could probably teach to her friends and they would probably get it. Right? Kaitlyn's number 7 board game of all time, Machi Koro. And now we move on to Kaitlyn's number 6 board game of all time, and that is
Pandemic.
Woo! Why do you like Pandemic?
So this was one of the first games I ever played. I really like this game, especially because it's cooperative.
Yes.
And it's like if you're losing, you're losing together, and you're winning together, and so on. And it's a really good game. I love this game, and it's about caring, treating, you know.
Yes, you have all these viruses, kind of like what we're dealing with in the world right now. And we're a group of specialists representing the CDC, and we're treating the different viruses, and we're trying to find cures to all these different viruses, which are represented by different color-coded cards. And once we get a certain amount of those cards, we turn them in and we cure. But can we do it before there's too many outbreaks, or before there's so many virus cubes on the board that we're overwhelmed, or before the deck runs out and we've run out of time? We're all trying to race towards that. And like Kaitlyn mentioned, we work with it cooperatively, and it's so cool because it's a great way to teach people modern games, because sometimes people are intimidated by competition or the idea of, I'm going to lose this game because it's my first time playing and you've played many times. I will say this though, Kaitlyn's older brother, David, is much like some of my subscribers who are opposed to cooperative games because they want to lord their victories over somebody else. But that's not the case with my niece and I. We're team players.
We're teams.
We work together. We share the glory. Kaitlyn's number 6 board game of all time, Pandemic. Now we move on to Kaitlyn's number 6. No, that was 6. Number 5 board game of all time, and that is
Sagrada. Oops, Sagrada.
So why do you like Sagrada so much?
So this is a dice rolling game, and you have these little cards or insert thing. You insert them.
Yes.
And I think you've done a solo playthrough of this.
I have, yes. Thanks for plugging it.
And you basically are rolling dice, and you're trying to get. There's special cards, and it's like if you get all the same, not all the same colors, all different colors in like a row, you get points and so on. And this game is really good. I recommend it to people who like games like fun rolling dice games, you know.
Yes.
I had a good time with it, and it was a really good game. I really like it.
Yeah.
I want to play more.
Nice little puzzle and challenging kind of thing. And what do you think about how the game looks?
The game has like I don't know, like it's like a grid basically, and you're putting dice inside the grids, and there's like special colors, and you put, like for blue example, you put a blue dice in there, and there's yellow and so on, and there's sometimes like numbers in the actual little grid.
Yes, and you need to put that exact number in that grid spot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool. It's a beautiful game, really pretty. Really simple to learn, wouldn't you say? It's not hard to learn. And even so, it has, for the special cards, the starting cards that players get for their Sagrada board that they have to try to fill up, they have different levels of difficulty. So if you're playing against a less experienced player, you can give them an easier card. So I always give Kaitlyn an easier card so she could stand a chance against me. Okay. But you know, with experience, we're kind of leveling up now, and she's almost at my level. And you know, one day she'll take the torch. But for now, I'm still a champ. All right. Kaitlyn's number 5 board game of all time, Sagrada. And now we move on to Kaitlyn's number 4, which is
Pandemic the Cure.
Kaitlyn really likes saving the world. 2 out of the last 3 games are Pandemic games. Why is this number 4, and why is this better than Pandemic?
This is better than Pandemic because I feel, in my personal opinion, I feel like this game deserves like a bunch of people to play with because this is the version of rolling in Pandemic. You're like placing cards up.
Mm-hmm.
This is rolling version, and this is like a really good game. You roll dice. You're trying to save the world, but there's like little discs.
Mm-hmm.
And this is better than Pandemic because I like the rolling experience because it's better instead of placing cards, in my opinion. And I really had a good time with it when me and Harry won
For the first time
for
ever.
the first time. And it was a really good game. I would like to play it more often. And yeah, I want to teach it to my brothers too because they have never played this game.
Yeah, this is one of our games that we pull out when her older brothers are too cool to hang out with us. We're just like, hey, what can we play by ourselves? Pandemic the Cure. And I will agree with Kaitlyn. This is, to me, for the time being, a little bit more interesting than regular Pandemic, even though I love regular Pandemic, and obviously Kaitlyn does as well. But for the time being, I think it has a little bit of an edge. Yeah, Kaitlyn's number 4 board game of all time, Pandemic the Cure. Kaitlyn's number 3 board game of all time is Marvel Legendary. And I got this small box here because, again, I'm visiting Kaitlyn. I was not going to bring my huge, big, heavy box. But tell us, Kaitlyn, why is this number 3?
Marvel Legendary, I've only played it cooperatively. I haven't played it competitively. I'm like the person who doesn't really like competitive games. I like being on teams because it's fun for me. And it's easier to learn the game if it's cooperative or competitive. And this game is really good because when you're cooperative, you're trying to defeat the super villain or villain, yeah. And it's like you're competing, you're trying to win, and it's really hard sometimes because they have like it's so powerful. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's a really good game. And, I like it cooperative. I haven't played it competitive. I've just only seen the competitive version.
Yeah, I think it shines cooperatively anyways, honestly speaking. It's meant to be a semi-cooperative game where you can have a MVP winner who has more victory points, but it shines when we're all working on the same page to try to stop the mastermind, to try to stop the schemes. And there's so much content in this game. I own so many expansions. There's so many expansions I don't even own. So we're always playing with different heroes, different combinations of villains and masterminds and schemes. And it always gives like a different story to it. And sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. But this is actually one of those rare cooperative games that my nephew David, who I mentioned loathes cooperative games, he actually enjoys playing Marvel Legendary cooperative because, again, it's just really fun that way.
Yeah. This is my number 3 board game of all time.
Marvel Legendary. Okay, and now we're down to her top 2 board games of all time. Her number 2 board game of all time is
Shadows over Camelot.
Another cooperative game, huh?
Shadows over Camelot's a really good game. I really like it because there's like a traitor, there's loyal. So far, I've only been the traitor twice.
That's a good amount. Some people are never the traitors.
And sometimes I don't even like being the traitor because I like to win. And
she likes to be the traitor. You heard her, folks. We got it on record here.
And it's a really good game. You're trying to complete quests. Some of the quests we haven't complete because it's usually so hard because we're always putting like catapults and trying to defeat the catapults and always drawing the evil cards.
Yes.
And yeah, this is a good game.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably good for people who like more cooperative games.
Definitely, yeah. And it's cool because you could play up to 7 players in this game. So that's a lot of players in a cooperative game. And there's so much interaction and communication. And because there's so many different quests that you're trying to cover up, it doesn't feel like you're useless. Because on some place on the board, you're going to feel like you're useful, right?
Yeah.
And again, you have the possibility of a traitor. So you have to trust your teammates with the information they might be communicating because they cannot communicate perfect information as far as what they have in their hands. And you got to trust them. And sometimes your trust fails on you or backfires on you because one of your teammates is really not your teammate after all, and they're a traitor who's out to help the game defeat you. Lots of really cool things going on in this game from a cooperative perspective for teammates to work together. And again, cool speculation, wondering who the traitor is and, sowing doubt into other players if you're the traitor and making them doubt other people around the table so that you can protect your cover, right? Really cool. Kaitlyn's number 2 board game of all time, Shadows over Camelot. And that's it. We're time for Kaitlyn's number 1 board game of all time. The best game ever according to Kaitlyn, and that is
Cosmic Encounter.
Cosmic Encounter. All right. Really good game. Why is this your favorite game of all time?
Because this game, you can make it competitive or cooperative. It all depends, because you're going on teams, you're being people's allies, and it's a really good game. You're all teaming, well, not all of you, except the other.
Sure, alliances are formed. It could be like 2 people here, 3 people there, right?
Yeah, and it's a really good game. We play with new aliens sometimes, and you get to be on people's teams, be rebellious, like some people I know. And it's a really good game. It's 3 to 5 players, right?
Yeah, 3 to 5 with the base game. With the expansions, you could add more players, but yep.
And this is a really good game. I really, really, really like it.
What do you think about the alien races?
I think some of them are really mean.
Yes, you're right.
I've lost points
Yes,
of some of the aliens.
Yeah.
And it's really hard sometimes. I'm like,
my nephew David, he loves playing with those mean aliens and hurting and making other people suffer.
Me.
He gets lots of satisfaction from that.
Yep.
What's your favorite alien? What alien have you liked playing with?
Well, I haven't played with it yet, but I'm very interested in the alien called Loser.
Loser, interesting. Okay, because the loser can claim upset or something like that right before you reveal the attack cards, and that will make it so that the player with the lower attack value will actually win. So it's a little bit of a twist, and your opponent has to think about what card they play before they play it out, because they don't know if the loser's actually going to call the upset or they're going to just go straight up. So it plays mind games with your opponent. So you like that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I don't think I've played with Loser either. But it's definitely an interesting one to navigate and to work around, especially if you're going to challenge an opponent who has that character. And what do you think about, when people in this game say they're going to negotiate but end up betraying other people and pulling out an attack card instead?
Oh, that makes me mad.
Makes you mad. Have you ever done that?
No, only Lily has.
Only Lily has, my wife Lily. No, trust me. I think we've seen David and Alex. Alex has done it tons of times. Alex is a snake. You can't trust Alex.
He hasn't done it to me, I don't think.
He hasn't done it to you? Maybe not. They love doing it to me for some reason. I don't know. I'm the Funkle, guys. I'm the Funkle. You got to be nice to me, okay? Anyways, all right, so that's Kaitlyn's number 1 board game of all time. Thank you for joining us here. Please consider clicking on one of the videos on the screen. If YouTube is showing them to you, it's because they think there's a really good chance that you will like one of them. Also, check in the description down below for a link to our Patreon account and see how you can support our channel and become more involved with the behind-the-scenes process. Research and find a tier that works for you. This is Harry
and Kaitlyn
saying take care, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, and have fun gaming. Bye-bye.
Bye.